Now, this is the last in this series. We've talked about being decisive, being dependable, being daring, being compassionate, being positive, being faithful. And now finally, this one is about being wise. If you're going to be wise, it will involve a lot of different things. It takes time, it means constantly learning, and it includes being sensible and balanced and discerning. It's very important that you be constantly learning. Read good books to broaden your education, both spiritually and in other areas of interest. Charlie Steinmetz was a handicapped dwarf, but what he lacked physically, he made up for mentally. When it came to the subject of electricity, he was brilliant. No one in his day knew more about it than he did. Henry Ford realized that when he hired him to help in the building of the massive generators and turbines that would run his first automobile plant in Dearborn, Michigan. Once everything was in place, the assembly line worked like clockwork. Thanks to Charlie Steinmetz, the cars began to roll off the line and profits began to pour into the Ford Motor Company. Things ran smoothly for months, but then suddenly, without warning, everything ground to a halt. Ford Motor Company went dark. One electrician after another was unable to locate the problem, much to Henry Ford's frustration. Finally, Ford contacted Steinmetz, the brain behind the system. Steinmetz came, he fiddled around with some switches and motors and gauges, and then he threw the master switch and the power came on and the plant roared back into action. It had only taken him a few minutes to find the problem. Within a few days, Charlie Steinmetz mailed Henry Ford a bill for $10,000. Ford couldn't believe it. He was wealthy, but this was exorbitant, especially for what was a small amount of work. Ford sent the bill back with a note and said, "Isn't it a bit steep to charge me so much for tinkering around for such a short time?" Steinmetz rewrote the bill and sent it back. It read, "For tinkering around on the motor, $10. For knowing where to tinker, $9,990. Henry Ford paid the bill. You see, the more you learn, the more knowledge you have, and that gives you the wisdom to be able to live life successfully. The book of Proverbs is one of the wisdom books in the Old Testament. In my Bible, I have written the words "wisdom for living" over the heading of Proverbs. Solomon writes in the first few verses that he wants his son to learn wisdom for a disciplined and successful life. He says, "Let the wise listen to these proverbs and become even wiser." There are 31 chapters in Proverbs, and if you read one a day, you'll read Proverbs in 1 month. Do that for a year, and your life will be infused with wisdom. Another part of wisdom is being balanced. You don't jump on every bandwagon that comes along. You know what your spiritual gifts are, and you function within that giftedness. So if you don't have the gift of teaching or prophecy or evangelism, don't worry. You don't compare yourself with those who do. You wisely use your time and energy and do your work and ministry fully functioning within the areas of your own giftedness. Discernment is also a part of wisdom. Learn to discern what is right. If someone comes along with a new spiritual fad, Don't get pulled into it. Ask yourself if this is right. And if it is this what I need to be involved in? God has made you unique, and he has given you wonderful gifts. Now make sure you function wisely in a balanced way so that your life will bring glory to God. So here's my summary. Be wise, be sensible, be balanced, and be discerning. 2, always be learning so you have the knowledge to help you make wise decisions. And 3, focus on biblical truth because that is God's basis for wisdom. Now, it's been great to share these thoughts with you. These are things that have impacted my life over the years, and I hope they'll be a blessing and joy to you. God bless you. I love you.